Hey friends, this is Brandon from This Is Tech Today, and we're going to look at the difference between Siri on the Apple HomePod and the Google Assistant on the Google Home. By now, you've probably heard plenty of reviews on the HomePod, and I agree with most of them. Here's my quick summary. It's expensive, $350 to be exact, but $50 less than the Google Home Max. Both of these are expensive. Too expensive. It comes in white and space gray. Get the gray. It will hide scuffs and dirt better. The mesh is squishy, oddly squishy. It's really tiny. Really tiny, but it's really heavy for being tiny. Don't break it or repairs cost nearly as much as the new one. It's got a ton of speakers, 7 tweeters, and a woofer. This tiny thing really does have solid bass. That is, if you don't turn it up all the way. Audio is shut down, so it needs to be on a hard surface, but not a wood surface, or it'll stain it. You can unplug it, but you kinda can, but you shouldn't. The cloth has a line down the side, and well, it's a roulette on where it'll end up. But how good is it next to something like the Google Home Max? You can control some of it like the Google Home Max. It's much better to tap than to swipe, but it's not all that intuitive at first. You can pair it with another HomePod like Google Home Max, but not yet. You can pair it using AirPlay 2 to communicate with other HomePods in your home like Google Home, but not yet. Have Spotify? Well, it doesn't work unless you use AirPlay. Have Apple Music? It's great, but that ecosystem lockdown though. It's a smart home speaker. It adapts to its environment with the AIs and 6 mics. Kind of. It's a Siri speaker, but it's not a Bluetooth speaker. Siri surprisingly picks up your voice really well over loud music. But it's a bad Siri speaker, or so they say. And that is why we're here. We're going to find out how bad Siri is on the Apple HomePod in comparison to the Google Assistant on the Google Home. Besides the often cited security issues with the Apple HomePod and its inability of recognizing specific voices and their associated accounts, how good is the Apple HomePod at being a smart assistant speaker? I asked both the Apple HomePod and the Google Home a series of questions, so let's check it out.
Okay, the Creative Exchange podcast now playing.
What's up, guys?
Okay, playing the latest episode of the Creative Exchange. John Hill, pro skateboarder, YouTuber, and also my boyfriend, number 4.
What's up, guys?
I've set an alarm for 5 p.m.
Okay, your alarm's set for tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Just a moment. The alarm's set for 7 a.m.
Got it? Your alarm's set for tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Counting down from 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes, starting now.
A timer is already running at 4 minutes and 53 seconds. Would you like to replace it?
Second timer for 10 minutes, and that's starting now.
Here's Black Panther playing at 16 theaters.
Sorry, I can't find any screenings for the movie.
What?
Sorry, I can only take that request while you're listening to a song or podcast.
February 16th.
The nearest one I found is Starbucks about 0.6 miles.
The address for Starbucks is Starbucks 15.
I can't do that here. Sorry about that.
Sure, Dark from Netflix. Playing on Brandon's TV.
I can't access your calendar here. Sorry about that.
At what time?
6:30 p.m.
Sure, rock climbing on Friday at 6:30 p.m.
I wish I could, but I can't access your calendar here.
Sure, Brandon. Today, there's only one thing on your calendar. It starts at 11.
Here's the latest news from NPR.
Here's the latest news. Playing on Brandon's TV.
It's currently clear and 55 degrees.
Right now it's 55 and clear. Tonight, it's predicted.
Expect partly cloudy skies.
No, it won't be cold tomorrow and expect a high of 60.
The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
Okay, here you go. How do you keep warm in a cold room? You go to the corner, because it's always 90 degrees.
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
According to Wikipedia, Elon Reeve Musk is a South African-born.
The distance from the Earth to Mars is about 1.43 astronomical units.
54.6 million kilometers. On the website space.com, they say, this would put the planet.
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
My apologies. I don't understand.
I wish I could, but I can't locate phones here.
Calling Justin Mobile.
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
Here's a summary from the website Reuters.com. It can go from 0 to...
Michael Jordan played shooting guard in the NBA between 1980. Michael Jordan is 6 feet 6 inches tall. According to my sources, Michael Jordan is 55 years old.
According to Wikipedia, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, also known by his initials, he's 6 feet 6 inches tall, 55 years old.
A visit to apple.com should be able to help you with that.
On the website theverage.com, they say, Apple has announced it will release the home...
I'm partial to Apple products, myself.
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that.
So what are your thoughts and observations? Go ahead and leave your comments down below. I was surprised in a few different things that I didn't realize that Siri had learned, specifically changed questions. So when I asked questions about Michael Jordan and then proceeded to ask questions about his height and his age, it actually worked on that. I will say Siri on the HomePod sounds really natural. It sounds way better than the Google Assistant. If Google is able to add that kind of natural character and sound to the voice, that would be really cool. Overall, I feel that the Google Home is a better smart home device because it works with way more different devices and it's way less expensive. However, the Apple HomePod sounds incredible for what its size is. I just don't find that Siri is all that useful. And then it all comes down to the way it's coding. Speaking of coding, because of all of you, the channel has its first sponsor. This is crazy. If you ever want to start a career in coding and don't have the experience or know how to start, App Academy is a great place to start. They have this completely online bootcamp prep that will teach you the foundations of JavaScript, and that'll allow you to go on to some of the most selective coding schools out there. They guarantee 100% placement in a coding school. And they have a full bootcamp located in San Francisco and New York that'll teach you how to competently work on a full stack project. A project at every single layer using JavaScript, Ruby on Rails, Redux, or React. If you're concerned about paying for your time at the App Academy Bootcamp, they have this really neat thing where you don't have to pay up front, but you would pay them back after you land a job. This truly shows that the interest for them as a business is for you to land a well-paying job. Most people end up with a job making 6 figures within their first year. Talk about really clever incentivizing. To learn more about their bootcamp in San Francisco or New York, click the link down below in the description. Or if you want to start out with their bootcamp prep, click the link down below in the description to find out more about their $2,000 scholarship giveaway. Thanks so much to the App Academy for sponsoring this video and giving me the opportunity to make videos for you. And thank you for making this possible. Now for the rest of the review. The Apple HomePod is fairly expensive, so what I would suggest getting is a pair of nice bookshelf speakers like the ELAC B5s, and then getting a Chromecast audio, and you'll get the smart home features that way. So with that, you would save $100 and get the amazing features of the Google Assistant. I'll have some links down below for some suggested speakers, the Apple HomePod, and the Google Home. Feel free to leave some suggestions for other speakers or combinations that you have found helpful. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you. And I have another video coming up soon on how to get that space gray keyboard without spending $5,000 on an iMac Pro. So stay tuned. Thanks again for watching This Is Tech Today. Until next time.